In terms of, we've had introductions from every single person on the panel today, and so now we're going to go into certain kinds of questions. And overall, I'm going to ask the question first, and then another question will be asked, but I will give an option for every single person to have the same amount of time to answer the question as we go through. And so the first question I'd like to open up is a pretty general question for everyone. And most people who go to the ballot and vote in November are going to see names on the ballot that they've never heard of before. They might have seen signs with certain people's names on them. I saw them driving in tonight, okay? But they don't really necessarily know much. So in your opinion, what kinds of issues or criteria would you think a voter should take as priority when determining what would make a good judge and who deserves their vote? Okay? And we'll let Mr. Jenner start, and each person will have 2 minutes to talk. So pick your criteria, priority issues that you think is the most important.
Ready to go? Okay. I think the major criteria is that experience matters. And I have 25 years of experience doing criminal defense work in Bay County District Courts. That's number one. The other thing is you're going to look for a candidate that knows his community. He's been active in his community, okay, and he knows it, right? And having raised 5 sons through this community, it's amazing where children will take you, okay? I mean, if you know my kids, you know they've been very athletic, and they play all the sports, and it's amazing, from hockey, basketball, football, the people that you meet and get to know in your community. Also, if you've been a criminal defense lawyer in Bay County, and that's all I mean, for 25 years, that's what I've done, I have met 5,000 to 10,000 clients that I've represented, okay? They've gone anywhere from trespass to murder. Handle them all. And I think those are the keys. You're looking for experience, you're looking for community involvement, and of course, what you don't get to see unless you know the person is the judicial temperament that it takes. And I believe that I possess that. I guess one of my experiences, I've been a Little League umpire. If you want to be a judge, first be a Little League umpire. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, go ahead.
I think that the kind of judge I have been speaks for itself. And I have been tough, I have been fair, and I have been honest. I have been fair to every single person who has come in front of me. And those of you who've had the opportunity, I think some people have come in front of me here. And for those of you who have not, I would welcome you to come to my courtroom. It is open, it is available, it is there for public consumption. So if you have a question about the job that's being done there, the best thing that you can do as voters who clearly care about this race is to come down and educate yourself. Take a couple hours and sit in the back of my courtroom. What it takes is the ability to do the right thing, even when it's the difficult thing. I do that every day. It takes hard work above and beyond what would usually be expected. There's a little bit of mothering, there's a lot of social work, there's a whole lot of lawyering. And all of that has to come together so that when every person comes in front of you, they know that they are being heard. Not just that they're there and they have the ability to speak, but that they're being heard. So it's more than experience. It's more than community involvement, and those are things that both Mr. Janer and I have. It goes beyond that to a judicial philosophy that incorporates the entirety of the community and incorporates each of you on an equal level. And that happens in my court every day.
The factors that make a good judge are somewhat intangible, but generally speaking, I think it comes down to experience, it comes down to judgment, and it comes down to temperament. Experience in the sense that a judge needs to be a good lawyer. He or she needs to understand how to analyze issues, how to find answers, how to prompt lawyers to provide the answers in an advocacy, in a manner consistent with good advocacy. And that requires some years of handling cases yourself. It also requires judgment, and by judgment I mean the ability to be flexible in terms of applying the law to the differing fact situations and the differing situations that are presented to a judge. It's a subtle thing, but it requires the ability to use common sense as well as to understand and apply the law. And in terms of temperament, it requires, first of all, somebody who is not quick to anger. You don't want a grumpy judge. You want somebody who's going to be patient, who's going to listen to the arguments, who's going to treat people who come before the court, no matter what brings them there, with respect and with dignity. But it also requires a good work ethic, somebody who's prepared to work as long as necessary to do the job well. So it's, I think, an accumulation of, it's a person's growth throughout their career that prepares them for the job, that results in the experience, the judgment, and the temperament necessary to be a good judge.
It's my opinion that a judge needs to be fair and open-minded. They need to be able to listen to both sides and not, they need to be judgmental but not judgmental. They need to know society, the community, from every aspect of that community. When you have two parties that come before you, you have to listen and be open-minded for the arguments that are before you. Integrity is a major important part of being a judge. It's important that a judge is someone who cannot be swayed, is somebody who can be independent and stands up to what he believes in or she believes in. That's important. And that's, in my opinion, that's what you should look for in a judge. I absolutely think that. As far as experience, yeah, experience is important. There's no question about it. But experience, there's a question mark with experience. Experience should be well-rounded, because that's important. Thank you.
This round will start with Judge Barnes. Can you name any quality or qualities that you bring to the table as a candidate that your opponent does not? And alternatively, can you name one way that your opponent is qualified to run for this position? Correct. Everyone get that? Give you 2 minutes.
I think the principal difference between myself and Mr. Janer is diversity of experience. As I mentioned in my opening statement, there is nothing in the district court that I had not already done before I took the bench. And since the time I have taken the bench, I have done absolutely everything that came before me with no difficulty. That's because of preparation, it's because of experience, and it's because of my dedication to this community and doing the job. I think the other difference is that I am viewing this as, and I have always viewed this as, a service profession. It's not about my own ego. It's not about anything more than a commitment to serving my community in the most meaningful way that I can manage. So that difference of philosophy is there. Now, Mr. Janer and I work together for years, and so we know each other well. And without a doubt, if you're just going to stack up